Traveling blind sharpens the senses. Every language becomes a guide. James Holman.
I'm Julie.
I'm Elizabeth.
I'm Morgan.
I'm Stephanie, and this is Blind Gems.
Hi, ladies. I'm really excited. Did you see who's joining us today? It's our beautiful friend, Emmy. Buongiorno, Emmy.
Oh, buongiorno. Today everybody speaks Italian.
Yeah, of course, in honor
Thank you,
of
guys.
you.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Yes, very welcome to the podcast.
Yes.
Thank you for hosting me. It's a pleasure for me to stay with you, to be here. Thank you.
I was wondering, could you just give us a little bit of background so people can get caught up on who you are before we start gabbing?
Yeah, sure. I'm blind since birth. I think that it is the first thing to say. Uh, I I was born and raised in Italy, on the coast. It's a beautiful town in front of Croatia's coast. Then I was very lucky because I had a very supportive and very loving family. I really loved my childhood and my adolescence. Then I got my first degree in Italy in something called Languages and Foreign Literatures. I got 2 majors in English and Spanish. Actually, it's considered a doctorate degree in Italy, but it was not valid in the US, so I got a master degree in the US in Hispanic Studies. Between my first degree and the second one, I worked. Actually, in Italy, as all over the world, it's a little bit difficult, especially for a blind person, to get a job. So I put up a travel agency for disabled people by myself because, as the quote said, I've traveled since my childhood, and I really love to travel. So basically, what I did was to find, based on personal needs and personal wishes, my job was to find good places, activities, and whatever for disabled people. I had this work until, for 3 years, but then I decided that I worked a lot and I didn't get much money with this work. So then I had an opportunity to go to the US, and I decided to accept it. There I worked as a Spanish teacher at university for some years. I went back to Italy because of COVID. It was a very hard situation, like for all of you, for all of us. And I wanted to die just in case, close to my family, and I wanted to see my family again before,
Right.
So I decided to go back to Italy. Then, for personal reasons, I left my career a little bit. In Italy, at the moment I'm working as a private teacher and as a translator, sorry. And I don't know, now I'm in a transitional period. I don't know if I will go back to the other side of the ocean or if I will stay here.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows?
Wow.
It's so, these days, it's not even an ocean. It's such a tiny little pond. that, it's so much closer than it used to be. And then you can also work remotely. I'm just in awe at how much traveling you do. And I'm also in awe about the languages that you speak. So, how many languages do you actually speak?
Not many. Actually,
Not many.
I'm no. Just a couple, I promise. I mean, I'm pretty fluent in English, I'm bilingual in Spanish, and I speak a little bit of German and a little bit of Portuguese, but just a little bit. I mean, when I say it, people think that I speak more than how much I speak, but it's not true. I mean,
Don't,
no.
don't forget
let's-
Italian too.
Italian.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sorry.
I was
Oh
just
my
going to
god.
say.
Oh my gosh,
So
I'm
that's
sorry.
4 more languages than me, whether you speak them
Exactly.
fluently or just a little bit.
Yeah.
No. I'm very proud to be Italian,
You
and
should
I'm
be.
proudly an Italian native speaker. So
I
yeah,
You have such an exuberance of joy about you, Emmy. I mean, you're just lovely to be around. You lift
I'm a
so
crazy
many
wild.
people's spirit. You are crazy wild.
Yeah, sorry.
So, what took you down the path of languages in the first place? Like, was it something you knew you wanted to do when you were quite young, or?
Yeah, actually, since when I was a child, I started traveling. At first with my family, above all with a couple of uncles. Basically, my father's sister and her husband were entrepreneurs, and they used to travel around the world. Um, they didn't have children, so I was a kind of daughter for them as well. And they took me with them everywhere because they
Lovely.
wanted me, to do any kind of experience. And
Mhm.
actually, I was really curious to understand because I don't know if I love gossip. I loved gossip when I was a child. I can't remember now. But yeah, I was really curious to know what people said in the different languages. So I probably, I don't know, it probably encouraged me. I mean, this factor encouraged me to learn different languages. I'm not sure. Then something happened to me when I was 15. I was in England for a kind of vacation, to study English too. And there I met a guy, a Spanish boy. Well,
Oh,
then, no. Since then, I had never told my parents that I wanted to learn Spanish. Never.
yes.
Well, that year, after the vacation, we were at the table eating lunch, and I said to my father, "You know, Dad, I think that next year I will take Spanish at school." Spanish? Yeah. Why? Oh no, don't worry. Personal reasons. I said, and I was just 15. And some weeks later, a couple of letters from Spanish started to arrive at my home. So my parents understood immediately, realized why I wanted
Why?
to speak
Your
Spanish.
motive there. Yeah.
There was a boy
Yeah,
involved. Oh,
yeah.
that's
Always a
hilarious.
boy. Oh, how cute. Do you, Emmy, if
My
I can ask, do you have a favorite travel destination spot, like somewhere that's like you want to go back again and again to that you love?
You know what? I've loved every place. I mean, yeah, every places I've been because every time you travel, even if it's a short trip from Toronto to Ottawa for Canadians, or from New York to Boston for people from United States, or from Rome to Milan, you embark on an adventure because you never know, anything can happen. You never know who you can meet during your trip, and every every single person every single event that happens to you during that trip will enrich you and will be an experience to tell to somebody else when you go back. So, no, I do not have. I have some places where I would like to go back, sure, but just because of probably different cultures, different environments. But in general, everything positively or negatively enriches you. So I was very lucky to travel, and I hope to travel
Yeah.
in the future as well.
Mhm. Yeah,
My
I remember
question-
you. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Morgan.
My question for you is the Spanish you learned because you learned Spanish in Europe. Do you find it more formal or different from the Spanish you would have heard when you were in the US?
Well, it is a right question, a correct question. Actually, even the English I've learned was very is very different than than the spoken English I've heard in the US. But anyway, yeah, because what we learn in Italy is what they call and what is called peninsular Spanish. So basically, is the Spanish spoken in Spain. But the Spanish that is spoken in the US is South American Spanish. That is more or less is the same, but they have different words and different words, I would say, different phrases, different, So, but once you've learned one of them, basically you have the key to learn the other one. Actually, it was pretty easy to accustom myself to South American Spanish. But thank you for the question because it's a very interesting question.
My question was you had mentioned in a private conversation with me, and I hope you don't mind me bringing it up, but I believe you said you had went to law school originally.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. Yeah, sure. I went because my father wanted me to become a lawyer. Yeah.
Ah,
It was his
Wow.
dream, but it was his dream, not mine.
Not yours, yeah.
No, because you know what? I've always been very talkative. I've always been sometimes too much, I would say. But anyway, and I thought it could be a good career for me. But my problem is that I'm also a very creative person. My brain is a blender. I'm always thinking. My head is always working. And for me, law was really dry. I mean, I sat down. I remember I attended 2 years that university. Actually, I took
wow.
and passed some exams as well. So my parents didn't understand why I wanted to leave the university. My mom understood a little bit better because she knew that I was in love with languages. But I had I had a bad relationship with my English teacher when I was in high school. So I don't know why, but I didn't feel very confident. And at the end of the at the end of my high school, I decided to start law university instead of languages university. So yeah, but no, law
Yeah.
was definitely too much poor for me. I don't know how to define, but you know what? Anyway, when I was in when I was attending law university, I wrote my best poems. I promise.
Oh, nice. Nice. We'll have to hear them one day.
Yeah.
Emmy,
No, but
I'm wondering when it comes to accessibility when you're traveling, do you find a huge difference between countries or do you find that there's a lot of similarities?
well, guys, what I want to suggest everyone is to travel because now almost all over the world, except for a few countries, everything is really, really, really well planned and well organized for us. Airports have fantastic, uh, fantastic people that provide to give you assistance. So it's really a pleasure to travel because you do not have to be worried for anything. So I encourage all of you to travel because it's a very, very nice experience. Some airports are better than others. For example, even in the US, some, for example, have kind of room called, they don't call, I think that it doesn't have a name, but it's a room where disabled people can wait for their flight, and it's very safe and it's great because you can meet. Actually, I met a couple of blind persons there, and I really enjoyed. We had a good conversations, and there are some airports where there's not this room. So basically, they take you at the gate and you have to be very careful because they can forget you. So when it's time to embark, for your flight to embark, if they don't come, you have to stand up and ask for them because sometimes can happen. Actually, it happened to me in Europe, never in the US, but in Europe, it happened to me a couple of times. But fortunately, the flight was short because it was from Spain to Italy. But if it was from the US to Italy, it would have been a mess.
Yeah.
Have you ever used the people call it the wheelchair hack, where even though you can walk, you get a wheelchair so that the people know that you're disabled and they can see it and understand it better than a white cane because everyone knows what a wheelchair means. So if you sit in a wheelchair, then you won't get forgotten by the people who are supposed to help you.
Okay, guys, you should know that I'm a joker and that I've learned to play with my disability since when I was a child. Actually, once my aunt told.
Oh, I think we have a
To say
technological.
that, yeah. So this is just to say that I don't care to sit down on a wheelchair if it's quicker, if they can go fast, if I don't care because I know who I am. I know that I'm just blind, so I don't care what people think about my condition, about myself. But I tell you something. I really enjoy when outside of the airport, I stand up of the wheelchair. I imagine that all the people, probably not, but I imagine that the people are looking at me, and like a miracle, I stand up. Oh, this lady can walk! Great miracle!
You should show I'm cured and then walk
Yeah,
away.
exactly, exactly.
I hate to say I've done the wheelchair hack. That's my husband's idea to get through the line quicker. Anything to get through faster, he's made me do. So yeah, I'm guilty.
Yeah, but there are many disabled people that don't want to get on a wheelchair. I mean, they consider an offense to go, and they don't understand that for the assistance is better because they are quicker. They are, they go faster.
You know what I find offensive is the fact that people will pay attention to you if you're in a wheelchair because that's all we think of when we think disabled. It's the blue sign, it's universal, and it's the stick man sat in the wheelchair. So for the general, the public at large, disability means you're in a wheelchair. And that
Right.
is what really is that I'm offended at, is that society is still not thinking outside of the wheel. So do I use my disability to get ahead in line? Of course I do. Why wouldn't I? You know,
Right.
like we
Yeah,
don't get that
yeah,
many perks, do we? But it
No.
does bother me that it's so we don't get forgotten.
yeah.
That
You,
really
Yeah.
bothers me.
Yeah.
yeah, you know what? Over the years, over the time, I've learned something. When I was a child, no, when I was a child, no, but when I was a teenager, I didn't feel very confident. I always, I was always thinking that people were looking at me, everything I did,
Yeah.
how I dressed, how I ate, how I walked, how I whatever.
Yeah.
Over the time, I've learned that people don't pay attention me more than how I pay attention them. So
Yes.
basically, I've learned to be confident. Ladies, let's give up to be so to think about how we appear. Let's be free. Let's okay. We are blind, but we are strong. We are smart. We are basically we are like, and I would say, I dare, I would say better than some other fully sighted women. So, I mean, and I say it to, I say it also to other people that, feel a little bit unconfident or out of the place just because they are blind and they don't go to a restaurant and they don't have the courage to go out of their houses because there and just there they
Yeah.
feel safe. Go out, guys.
Yeah.
Go
You're
out
missing
there
Yeah.
out.
because
You miss out on
yeah,
things. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
yeah, yeah.
That's a great
Because
attitude. Yeah.
and then
Oh, it really is.
because in this way, I don't know. In the U.S., it's a little bit better, but all over the world, there's still much ignorance about us. I mean, everyone knows what are the limitations of a person on wheelchair. But when I say, for example, I when I have an interview, I mean at work for my work, and I say I'm blind, they ask me, okay, yes, you're blind, but what does it imply? I mean, what are your difficulties? What are your limitations? What can't you do, and what can you do? And if we start to have more, if we start to be more confident in our capacities and in also because I know that I have skills, but I also have my weak points. But if we start to be more confident, we can help people to understand and to keep uh, to come close to us, so
Mhm.
they can understand uh, our situation and they come closer to us. Actually, I'm very happy when people make me questions, whatever, in the train, on the plane. I mean, I'm very happy to answer.
Yeah. It's better than being ignored, right?
Oh
Oh,
yeah. Oh sure. Oh,
yeah.
no,
Yeah.
Totally
it's not
agree
my
with that.
attitude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
you can't expect to change the world and its attitudes by staying behind closed doors.
Yeah.
That's
So
Yeah.
awesome.
it's a beautiful way to live your life. I mean, that thought process for sure.
Yeah. Very inspiring. Yes.
Well,
Yeah,
it
really.
doesn't mean that you will not have rejections because you will have a positive attitude and you will face with negative attitudes. But it's part of life. Who cares?
Yes,
Very
that's so true. I mean, it doesn't matter what our struggles are, we all have struggles. What is it you say, Elizabeth? We're all in the same boat. It's just
Different paddles or oars that
different
you
paddles
used.
or oars. Yeah. But there's also that old adage of, don't wait for your ship to come in, swim out and meet it.
Yes.
And it's amazing how many ships are out there if you do swim out to meet it, for sure.
Yeah.
Emmy, it's been an absolute joy. I've thoroughly enjoyed our little chat this afternoon. Thanks
The
so
same
much
for
for
me.
coming.
You'll definitely have to come
I hope
back.
you come back. Yeah.
The same for me, ladies. I really enjoy your podcast. I really enjoy your conversations. So keep on going.
Oh,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It was very
Well,
sweet.
before we leave, I have a blind gem. And listening to just what we were talking about with Emmy, it kind of, well, I guess it could kind of tie in a little bit. I love when you said, we need to be confident, and we're always thinking that people are watching us, and there's that like unsureness. So mine blind gem is probably right when my vision was really getting at its worst. So we'll say about 11 years ago, I just started dating my husband. So I didn't live with him. So I'm getting ready to go out with the girls. So I get ready, I'm going out. And my one girlfriend, Patty, she's like, so is this the pretty in pink look? And I'm like, I don't really know what that means. And she kept saying it. And I'm like, what are you talking about? She's like, your eyeliner. She goes, where did you find pink eyeliner? And I'm like, what? I put my lip liner on my eyes.
Oh,
So
no,
they
you
were,
did not.
Oh my
and
God.
that's what I did. And they were glowy. Like it was like, because it was like pink.
Oh,
I wanted to, the whole time. And I'm like, no, it's not that bad. I'm like, it must be because you said something. So, we go through the evening. So it wrecked it for me in the back of my head. I couldn't get out of it. I came home and I called Brendan was my boyfriend at the time. I just broke down. I'm like, I can't do this. I had
Oh,
eyeliner. I was like,
yeah.
I'm never going out of the house again. He's like, it's no big deal. Maybe you started a trend. I'm like,
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
but it was so devastating because I thought I looked really
Well,
good, but
you probably thought everybody was watching you, right?
yeah, I'm
Yeah.
sure they were.
Yeah.
I'm sure
Yeah.
they were.
Yeah.
But it's just like what Emmy said. It's like I don't know that nobody really is looking at us. Not that
No,
much, not as much as we think. So
no,
now I could laugh about it, but I
At least
cannot
you
laugh about
at least you
it.
didn't put your lip
Right.
liner on your
I
lips
had
or your
eyeliner on my
eyeliner.
why? Oh my God, that would have been horrible.
Black
Yeah.
liner on your
black
Black
lips.
liner.
liner, yes. Oh, so yeah, I know it's a superficial thing, but you still wanted to look kind of put together. I still thought I could do it. Now
So
I'm very
super.
careful.
Yeah, but I find it's those superficial things that I I do
It's
the
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 ugly
str-
most,
cries
yeah,
over. Yeah,
it's the
right,
straw that
yeah,
breaks the camel's back. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
It's
but
yeah,
the simple
yes,
things.
the
yeah,
the
ugly
good thing,
cry.
the good thing of what you told is that now we are laughing about it. Can you
Yeah,
imagine? Can you
exactly.
realize? So it's
yeah,
great.
yeah.
Oh
Now I
no,
tell
for
the
sure.
story a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, but it's so.
A
That is
day in the life.
so. Yeah, a day in the life. You got that right. You couldn't write this stuff, could you?
No, you can't make this stuff
You
up.
really can't make this stuff up. No, we should get a contract with
Somebody.
Yeah.
somebody. Amazon Prime. Are you listening?
Write a
Come
book.
sign.
You can find more from Blind Gems on YouTube, Spotify, and the internationalblindcafe.com website.